I'm not sure I believe the UNLV talked to Pac-12. I think if it was going to happen, it was going to happen. I do believe Texas State's going to be a Pac-12 team. I really believe that's where they're going to go. I know they're still working on this Memphis and Tulane thing, and they still want to make that happen. And again, another one that I firmly believe if it was going to happen, would have happened. The fan bases don't make the decisions. And as upset as maybe UNLV fans are that they got left in the Mountain West, and the Memphis fans seem to think that they need to make a move, and somehow pairing themselves with that group instead of the American is going to be the upgrade that's going to satisfy them. It's not. I just don't know that I think that there's going to be enough money to satisfy everybody and let everybody make this move. And when it's all said and done, the thing that tips the scales is going to be the money. And I just don't know that there's going to be enough TV money to go around and make everybody that happy that they're going to leave the American and travel across the country and travel their softball teams, especially when you hear Mick Cronin be as vocal as he is in regards to travel for men's basketball. I mean, wait till you get through softball and women's tennis and everything else. I'm not sure all these athletic directors are going to have the appetite, if the money's not there, to start doing this to their student athletes.
I agree, but it's not going to be the big price tag to entice cross-country travel for not a power conference.
You hear Mick Cronin complaining the other day again when he was up in Washington. He had to go up to Washington, and whoever they were playing next was already back in L.A., and they're going to be in L.A. before us, and we got to be up here, and, at some point it'll come our way. Man, every night. There's no way, right, he's there next year. He's a good coach. I think he's coaching
feeling
somewhere.
Harder and harder.
Right? He's going to go somewhere where, I mean, where's the travel not that bad in the SWAC, in the MEAC? in the A10? I honestly.
Maybe I'm new to this whole thing, but it still doesn't sit right that Northern is a Mountain West.
Yeah, you're new. Yeah, I mean,
that's not weird.
Northern Illinois is in the Mountain West.
Yeah, that's not weird.
Isn't it weird that UCLA's in the same league as Rutgers?
Yeah,
Stanford's in the same league as Miami.
Yeah,
that Arizona State's in the same league as West Virginia.
And it's been like things have been that spread apart always, or is that a new thing?
No, that's the whole new. I mean, in the last few years, when the Pac-12 blew up, and that's where we're going. So yeah, Northern Illinois is going to play football in the Mountain West.
I love it.
And UCLA is playing league basketball games at Maryland. And Arizona State was just at West Virginia playing a league basketball game. Yeah, I mean, and Cal's going to Duke because they're in the same league.
Might as well change the name of the conferences.
To what?
That's a good question.
I'll tell you what they're going to change the names to. You want to know?
Let's hear it.
It'll be the American Airlines Conference.
I like it.
That's JJ. How many years ago did I say that? Sell the name.
Yeah, you've been talking about conference naming rights.
Yeah, they've been talking about it over the last couple of years. It'll be the Viagra Conference and the Delta Airlines Conference and the Chick-fil-A League and the Microsoft League. You think I'm kidding? I want to take a screenshot of you laughing right now, and in 5 years from now, when the league is called the Microsoft League or the Wendy's League or the National Rent-A-Car League or the Dr. Pepper Conference.
If you just better, I hope you're in on it. I hope you're in on it.
I mean, they're already talking about it. But I said it, JJ, 10, 12 years ago. Why not?
You've been on it.
Yeah, why not? All right, 505-246. That's where the money is. 505-246-0610, how to get in today. Emails Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. You can watch the show. You can see Zay and JJ and me. We're all on visuals. Xfinity Channel 26 on our Facebook page, the OD and the AM. Adrian's producer for ProView Networks. When we come back, we'll get into some of the NFL stuff yesterday. Zay's got a coach. So, the Cowboys got a coach. I don't know if he's Zay. Yeah, he's your coach, man. Whether you like it or not, it's like, man, whether you voted for the president or not, he's your president. Whether you like this coach or not, he's your president. What he had to say when we get back. Hey, if you've been the victim of a home or business break-in, you know too well it takes hours, if not days, for police to respond simply because they don't have enough officers to cover all the calls they get. But when it's you and when it's your home and when it's your business, you need a quicker response. So how about 7 minutes or less? That's typically the response time of customers of International Protective Service. IPS has officers strategically placed all around Albuquerque and now in Santa Fe, so they react quickly and often they catch criminals in the act. IPS provides standing guards if you need eyes on your property around the clock, and they install alarms and camera systems. All of this saves you problems. It gives you peace of mind. And they got a state-of-the-art facility monitoring those cameras 24/7 to raise the level around your home and business. I trusted IPS for years. They give my family peace of mind. My neighbors use them as well. Question is, who's watching your home when you're not there? Make sure it's the good guys and not the bad guys. Call IPS. See what they can do for you. The number is 505-897-2420. 505-897-2420. They're online at ipsglobal.com.
Football.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for
coach. If you're the Jets, I think you're fired up about that. 3 coaches were introduced yesterday. 3 coaches had introductory press conferences. Brian Schottenheimer's your coach. Come on, Zay, cry. He's my coach. Do your best, T.O. Come on. He's my coach. Come on.
That's my coach, man.
That's close. You're gonna have to work on that. That was so insincere. It was so. It's like when we were walking down the hallway this morning, and you said, "Yeah, no, I'm awake."
You know how long he waited for this. You don't know how long he waited for this.
Hey, by the way, I'll ask you later. All right, Brian Schottenheimer is your coach. 51 years old, got his first head coaching job. He will still call offensive plays this season. Why? Because Jerry wanted him to call plays. We wanted Brian to call the plays. We cherish his relationship with our players. We wanted him to call the plays. I believe if he doesn't call the plays, he's probably not with the Cowboys. Quote. Last time he called the plays was for 4 games in Jacksonville in 2021, by the way. Mike McCarthy called the plays last year. You feel any better after hearing him, or are you still as disgusted as you were?
Okay, so 100% yes, but the bar was not very high.
Well, your bar wasn't.
Yeah, so, I mean, we had to digest a Cowboy Nation being we had to digest the hire over the weekend, and the fans, when we first heard the name, 100% against it. So you know what they always say, when you come into a new job, it's best to have no expectation rather than having high expectation. The smart business workers. You wouldn't agree?
Cowboy
you wouldn't agree?
fans, so they don't get hurt.
Yeah, if you
I don't know, man. I look at some of these places and guys come in and you get expectations right away, right? I mean, I think Raider fans have expectations with Pete Carroll.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And I would argue that their roster is no better than what you have.
I do think the Cowboys have a better roster than the Raiders by a large margin. But I think in Schottenheimer's, when Pete Carroll was hired, Raider fans, especially when you look at the other coaches in that division, great hire. Like, I want to say a hire, but you can't, it hasn't happened yet. But I do think when you look at the other coaches in that division,
I love the Pete Carroll hire.
Yeah, it makes so much sense for the Raiders to have brought in Pete Carroll. As far as Schottenheimer's concerned, one of my biggest quotes is, we don't need a huge X's and O's guy. But I did say I wanted a guy that was going to be heavy on discipline. I don't know if Schottenheimer is that, but he did say some things I liked.
So there's a couple of similarities. And JJ, I'm curious where you are on this. Jerry said this is a risk, but it's not a Hail Mary. Okay, everything's a risk. Every coaching hire is uncertain. Every press conference you walk away, except for Sirianni's, you walk away feeling, all right, that guy's got it. He's pretty good, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, Liam Cohen might be on that list too now.
Which one?
Yeah,
Liam Cohen.
He's on the cringe list.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. But bottom line is, while Nick Sirianni absolutely lost the press conference, has been to 2 Super Bowls. Just saying. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter if you win the press conference in the long run. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I have no idea. I no idea. I don't know if Pete Carroll's going to work. I have no idea. Can I tell you what it feels a little bit like to me?
Mm-hmm.
JJ, remember last year when Antonio Pierce got hired and his key players wanted him, and now they're right. Max Crosby wanted him, Devontae Adams wanted him, and they're making a big deal. And if he's not here, we're not here. And they hired Antonio Pierce, and it didn't work, and he was out after a year. There's a little of this to that with me in the locker room. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to work.
I don't think anyone asked for Brian Schottenheimer.
Inside,
they guess they did.
Inside the locker room, it sounds like a lot of these guys went to bat for him.
The reports are
after
the players love
back, right? Like, it was after everyone was standing for Mike McCarthy. That's what they
Yeah. No, after the job opened. No, I think most of these guys were standing for Mike McCarthy.
Well, then I think what those guys realized is what we all realized. It wasn't going to be a drastic change. It was never going to be Deion Sanders. It was never going to be someone that you knew as a football fan or had an appetite for as a Cowboy fan. And then so when it gets to that point, I think the Cowboy locker room responded with just like, okay, let's just go with the guy we know then.
Yeah, I agree. A big part, though, I was watching the press conference. One of my best skills, I feel like, is listening and then taking out what I like out of what I hear. Like, I know how to, get rid of the stuff I don't like to hear. And what I did,
hear what you want to hear, like a lot of the listeners.
But if I hear something I really don't like, I'll hop on it.
Right,
he didn't raise any extreme red flags. The number one thing I'll say is, and I think Jerry did this on purpose, he highlighted that there were many times that Schottenheimer, because he wasn't calling plays, as JJ highlighted, McCarthy was calling plays. So I guess, according to Jerry and Schottenheimer, there were a lot of times where he felt like he had to bite his lip and he just couldn't say anything.
Did? Schottenheimer?
Yeah, like he would disagree with some things that McCarthy was going to do, but he couldn't say anything because he wasn't the guy in charge. So he would just kind of bite his lip. And I guess him and Dak wanted to go a certain way, but McCarthy wanted to go the other way.
What happens when you're vice president? You got your thoughts, but you don't get to make the call.
Exactly. So the belief is that he will still be different than McCarthy because he didn't have the power to be different than McCarthy. Now, culturally, I don't think there'll be much of a change. But play style-wise, he's saying he keeps referring back to Pete Carroll. He keeps referring back to the Seattle days. He highlighted that he led the league in rushing twice. And he did say that he wants to run the ball more and have the run game and the pass game look the same. And that's exactly what I wanted to hear as a Cowboys fan. If we're going to get down to the play style,
all right. I want to run the ball more. Who's running it? I had 6 rushing touchdowns all year. Philadelphia had 7 on Sunday.
Insane.
Think that. Let that sink in. They had 6 rushing touchdowns in 17 games. Philadelphia had 7 on Sunday.
You know what that means? That means he wants Genty, and that's what the Cowboy fans want to hear.
I think that'd be wonderful, Ashton Genty there.
And
you got a whole lot of other issues that you need to figure out, like who's going to block for Ashton Genty.
Agreed. And Stephen Jones, you can't believe what he says. But he says, a reporter asked a great question. Like, you guys have said before, you don't want to do the Eagles method. You don't want to go the Rams method because it's risky, but it's working. And they said, have you looked at them and thought to yourself, maybe we have to take a little bit of what they've done? And Stephen Jones, 80% sure he's lying through his teeth, but he says, yeah, in the past, haven't been that active in free agency, but moving forward, we'd like to be active in free agency so that we can draft for the best available player rather than having to draft starters, which he acknowledged that they had to do last year because they did nothing in free agency.
So, do they have a chance? I mean, like, what's success? Because you got guys like Zay, right? What? Yeah. I don't even know where I'm going. The strapping young bucks who get all the chicks. Period. That's all I was gonna say. You got guys like Zay who want to win now because they're Cowboy fans, and it's been in his lifetime he's never seen them win. Ever. Okay. And it's got to be now. And we're talking expectations. And so what's fair? I mean, okay, if they go, I mean, what were they, 6 wins, 7 wins this year? So if they win, if they go 8, 9, 9, 8 next year, is that okay?
No.
Okay, so they got to win now with this new head coach, with a roster that is, what's going to be so glaringly, JJ, what's going to be so glaringly differently next year about their roster?
Well, that's to be determined. My initial thought is what's fair is could they be competing for that last wild card spot with a healthy Dak Prescott all season? Sure, because they were a 7-win football team with Cooper Rush playing the majority of the year. So that's what I'm looking. I'm not looking at them at being able to win the division yet. So if they can hit on some pieces in free agency, we'll see what the draft class looks like. It's still not expecting a big step back from Philadelphia. Washington's ascending in the right direction. They can spend their entire offseason building a defense now.
They got so much cap space over there in Washington. It's insane.
So, yeah, every fan base's expectation is to win. They don't live in reality all the time because they're just going to be upset when they come up short.
Yeah,
that's
guys like that. See, that's what I was saying. That's all.
But my initial thought on Dallas is, all right, you can say, we're here to win the division. We're here to win the Super Bowl. Okay, that's not the team they are right now.
All right, when we come back, we want to be savages. We want to be savages. All right, then. Go win the press conference, buddy. Jacksonville's got a new coach. Pete Carroll's back. The NFL has got characters. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is brought to you by...
Making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros all your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. Our law firm was founded by my father, Thibaut J. Chavez, with one goal: to get New Mexicans the help they need. That's why we built a different kind of law firm. We focus on family values, dedicated service, and we make a real contribution by giving back to our communities. We can't change what happened to you or your loved ones, but we can help you get back on the road to recovery. We're by your side, and we're still as local as red and green.
Hey, glad you're with us today on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. JJ's up in beautiful Boise, Idaho, where he will have Lobo women's basketball tonight. Ladies try to bounce back from the home loss against Fresno. They will play the Broncos at 6:30, 6 o'clock pregame when JJ cracks the mic here on the Sports Animal. Lobo men back at it on Saturday. They'll be in Logan, Utah. A showdown at the top of the Mountain West between the Aggies and the Lobos. And I know how much you all love Aggies. I mean, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you all love Aggies. All right. Your impressions of the press conference for the Jacksonville Jaguars to introduce Liam Cohen, who said, "We want savages." How'd that go for you?
Duval.
You like that?
Duval.
That's their thing, man. Duval County. You like him?
I take zero away from introductory press conferences.
I think that's fair.
They mean because you try to say clever things or not say things that will get you laughed at that has nothing to do with what your football team is going to look like and how you're going to coach.
You mean we're going to bite their kneecaps? Right? I mean,
how many people immediately said Dan Campbell should be fired on the spot?
Many.
After he said that comment.
Many, especially after his first year.
I'll listen to it. I'll put the quotes in the notes. We'll talk about it. But just to me personally, I take nothing from introductory press conferences that will make me feel one way or another about how a coach is going to run his football team.
Quotes in the notes.
Yeah,
like that.
No, the quotes are right here in the notes. Yeah. It's JJ. I feel that way so 100% with you. And whether that's a college coach, whether it's a pro coach, you have to have them. You want to win the press conference because typically the press conference is in the off season, and you've got months until you see some sort of a product and some sort of a tangible result from a coach. And so that's all you've really got to go on, right? As a fan base is, well, what did that coach say in the press conference? And whether it's going to be biting kneecaps or I want savages or Duval or whatever it happens to be. I mean, Nick Sirianni was a disaster, correct? And I firmly believe that's still why a lot of people, national radio guys, just don't like him. And well, there's
a lot of
he's followed it up a little bit too.
Yeah.
All I know is that dude's been to the Super Bowl twice, which is a hell of a lot more than, I don't know, guys who win their press conference. I'm just saying. What did you think about what he said about Trevor Lawrence? He basically said, "Look, we're building around Trevor Lawrence."
That's the foundation right there. You got to figure it out with Trevor Lawrence. Not only is it because he has a gigantic contract, but that's a talented quarterback. And it was whoever took over next with Justin Herbert, like, this is your moment. Like, this is your opportunity where you don't have to solve the quarterback position. You just have to figure out how the rest of the team functions around that quarterback. And looking at Trevor Lawrence, he has to be better. And you look at Liam Cohen, it was just 1 year. But there was something about Baker Mayfield, man. I think Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback, but people just, I don't know if they don't think he's good, so they're like, man, Dave Canales and Liam Cohen back-to-back years with Baker, well, let's give him head coaching positions. Well, I think David Canales in the second half of the season did some nice work with Bryce Young, and it's not that big of a rebuild project with Trevor Lawrence because that team has enough talent dotted around that they should be able to compete in that division.
He said to them, "We are not a 3-win team," right? And I guess they were 4-13, but they lost. They were 3-10 in 1-score games, which, and I did not know this stat. Wow. It was the most 1-score, like the most losses in a single season in the Super Bowl era by 1 score.
That's
so each week you thought the Chiefs played close games every week. The Jags played close games every week and lost them every week, and they got to find a way to win. And so that's him saying we're not that far off. Yeah. We're just learning how to win off. By the way, the way to get paid now is somehow find the offensive coordinator job with Tampa Bay, ride Baker Mayfield, and next year you'll be a head coach.
Yes.
I mean, somehow, right? Go ride that. They're if they make a few moves, because I don't disagree with him. A, they're not far off. B, while the Texans are good, that division is not unattainable. Who in that division scares the crap out of you that you say, I don't want that job. I can't win here. Houston, Indianapolis?
No, there's nothing scary about that division.
Right?
Houston is beatable. They're a team that, they've won the division back-to-back years, won a playoff game.
Yep.
But they can still get better. That's the challenge, because I don't think they're going to regress under this. But I look at that job in Jacksonville, and it's fair to question these quarterbacks. It's fair to question Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert when they're not playing up to expectation.
You have to.
But you look at the open positions, I would be all over that, just like Liam Cohen was. The Trent Baalke thing was real. There were stories around the NFL where multiple people, Baalke was a guy that was kind of a survivor in certain places. Like, he butted heads with Harbaugh back in San Francisco, and yet somehow he won out there. They're going to keep him around in Jacksonville until they realized, our number one candidate doesn't want to deal with this general manager, so they finally fired him. And so Liam Cohen going in there with a clean slate, and they've hit on some draft picks. Like Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr. is a combination that's going to work. The first-round pick from LSU at wide receiver last year. You have Etienne and Bigsby in the backfield, and then you can focus on the trenches. And that's where this team is going to compete, is building an offensive and defensive line, and they have an opportunity to win that division next year.
Yeah, and the two games last year, you got Texans won 23-20 and then 24-20. So you had a new coach and import a new scheme.
Make a few plays.
Yeah, and you guys are right there at the top.
I don't know if we believe this, but I think players make plays.
Heard something about that.
There's some truth to it.
Well, if you go back and look at it, I mean, honestly, there were. I mean, in those games, there were turnovers. The quarterback has got to get better.
Yeah.
And I don't give a damn who you bring in. JJ, Zay, Trevor Lawrence has to be better next year. They paid him a truckload. They paid him to be a premier quarterback in this league, and he's not been. And granted, has he been hurt? Yep. The Urban Meyer thing was horrible. But the Urban Meyer thing is almost like you can't use that as a crutch anymore. Yeah, fine. He lost his rookie. Yeah, he lost that early year. At some point, you need to show it. You paid him. You're building everything around him. You've got a new coach who just came in yesterday and said, we're building everything around him. At some point, dude has got to be dude.
Yeah, when guys like Jaden Daniels come in the way he just did and switch a whole team around, it also kind of makes you a little bit impatient as a Jaguars fan. Like, hold on, this can be done.
C.J. Stroud did it in your division.
Mm-hmm.
He did it in your division. It's just got to be. It's just got to be. All right, Jets introduced their coach. But who's going to be his quarterback? Is Aaron Rodgers still going to be around? We'll get into that. Should he be around? Is that the best option for the Jets? 505-246-0610 if you want to get in today. Love to hear your thoughts on all the stuff that's going on around the National Football League. Hey, rain and snow are hitting, they say, tomorrow. And that's going to leave your car covered in dirt and mud and road salt stains. All this damages your car's paint over time. If you want to prevent this paint damage, I strongly recommend you get a hold of my friends over at On the Spot Automotive Detailing. On the Spot Automotive Detailing offers top-notch treatments that will protect your vehicle from the harsh winter weather. Plus, you can invest in their paint protection and ceramic coating. That's an extra layer of defense. But don't wait until it's too late. Book with them at otsdetailing.com. And while you're over there, take a look at their detailing services. That's what made them famous, and they are famous. That's all. Yeah, when you make the magazine, when you're best in the city, because you're best in the city. At that point, you're Bob Clark famous, and they are that. It's the best detailing in town, and they come to you. They detail your vehicle at your convenience. That means when and where it works for you. You don't take your vehicle to them; they take their vehicle to you. And when they're done, you go outside, and your car looks and feels and smells brand new, like the day you took it off the lot. That new car feel without that new car price is one of your biggest investments. Protect it. Take care of it. On the Spot Automotive Detailing. And if you're looking for I don't know if we're last minute yet on Valentine's Day, but we're getting there. It's a great gift. OTSDetailing.com's got everything. Book and buy there at OTSDetailing.com.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows.
The playoffs and the Super Bowl.
So I knew I was gonna have a good day today. You ever get that feeling? All right, it's gonna be a good day, not gonna be. I don't know. You get a little. It's gonna be a good day. Let me ask you this. I always ask you about acts of kindness. JJ, I'll ask both of you guys. So when you get in the elevator in the building, okay, and we get it here early. Well, Zay, sometimes you get here early in the morning. But at what point does somebody have to be coming in the door for you to hold the elevator? So like I've always thought, if they're in the, so for those of you who don't know, we got a building. There's 2 doors to get in, right? You open a door, and then for us in the morning, there's the 2 entrance doors. You're in the middle. You have to have a key card to open the second door, to the security door, to let you in. And I've always thought, if someone's in the second door, I'm going to hold the elevator for them. Right? Where are you guys? What's protocol for you guys?
I usually go once they're through the second door.
Through the second door. So if they're still fumbling with their key card, you're out. I got to go.
Yes.
It's all about eye contact, man.
You avoid it.
It's about, they look at me and give me the whole
the puppy dog eyes.
Yeah, they give me that look. I'm like, okay, I got you. But if they, like look away, I'm like, all right.
So, all right, there is one disclaimer for me. If I'm running, and I don't know, you've worked with me long enough now, and Zay. I mean, the first time Zay produced a show, I showed up at like 20 Chili's. Like, where the hell you been? You're hey, where are you? I mean, I didn't know if you were coming. Every once in a while, I might be running late. I mean, every once in a while cut it a little tight.
Yeah.
So if I'm cutting it tight, I might go. But I was going through the first set of doors as the elevator door opened. She got in as I was hitting the key card, and she held the door for me. I thought that was very kind of nice. The lady up on the 10th floor today. So that's how I knew it was going to be a good day. But I was just wondering what your guys' protocol was.
We're at a time too when we come in where you're not going to have to wait long for an elevator.
Mm-hmm.
One of the elevators is down though.
Yeah, it's true. It's been down for like a month.
Yeah, I know. All right,
not the one with the cardboard. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, I've used it a couple times.
I have too, but it was down today.
No.
All right. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be the Jets quarterback? I listened to the show before us, and what's dude's name? JJ, the guy before us, Perloff.
Yes.
Whose takes I almost never agree with. Almost never. He is trying to convince his audience that Aaron Rodgers is going to be really good next year, and if he goes somewhere else, he could be great. And I'm like, what did you see that makes you believe that? During a press conference to introduce Aaron Glenn as the new head coach of the Jets, their new GM, Darren Moogie, and owner Woody Johnson were asked about Aaron Rodgers being the head coach. Woody Johnson said, or being the head coach, being the quarterback. Woody Johnson, the owner, said, absolutely, Aaron's a talent for sure. He's a Hall of Famer. I'm not going to voice my opinion. That's up to them.
Oh,
wait, what? All right, so Aaron Glenn, the coach, quote, we're still in the evaluation mode. So for anybody else who's going to ask that, I'm going to give you the same answer. So don't waste your time. We clear? That means I don't think so. I mean, that's how I heard that.
He shouldn't be the quarterback of the Jets.
I don't think he should either. But what's their option? You talk to me all the time about, all right, who's better? Where are you going? What's your option?
Well, do you have a plan that you're not going to fire your coach after one season if you don't get the quarterback right away?
I hope so.
That has to be a thing for Woody Johnson to think about. So you need Aaron Rodgers out of that organization.
I agree with that, and I don't think Sam Darnold
can a lot of things up.
Yeah, and I don't think Sam Darnold could go back. I just don't.
Depends on what level check you want to give Sam.
I just don't think he, in his mind, in his head, there's a lot better spaces for Sam Darnold to go back to.
I'm sure if Rodgers would have handled a lot of things differently,
but he did.
Then they would have maybe had. Once you start, if they ask you, is this guy going to be here, and you mention that he's talented and a Hall of Famer, neither of those things mean a good quarterback right now. You can be very talented. We were just talking about Trevor Lawrence. He's talented, but he is not playing well. So I think that he pretty much said it without saying it.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. I don't want to diss the dude. He's a Hall of Famer, and it's not my call. It's the coach's call, and the coach says we're evaluating. What I heard is, I mean, what the hell are you evaluating, man? You haven't seen enough of Aaron Rodgers? Like, with all due respect, what more are you going to learn about Aaron Rodgers? How many meetings are you going to sit in? And what's more what don't you know?
The thing is, if I was Aaron Glenn and I'd talk to Woody Johnson and go, all right, if we move on from Aaron Rodgers, if we struggle this season because there's not a lot of options out there to immediately get better, are you going to fire me halfway through?
Yeah.
Because you have to be on the same page.
Damn right.
With this and say, all right, we moved on from Aaron Rodgers because the team wasn't good with him. And he was a mess on and off the field, too noisy in that regard. Are you going to understand that if we struggle this year trying to find a quarterback, that this is still going to be my job?
Who's
and
your quarterback, man? Is it? Can I throw one weird one at you? That might work there for a year. What do you guys think of Jim Garoppolo?
He's the guy that you have that conversation with, whether it's Garoppolo or Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. Like, someone has to start
That's where it's going to be, right? I mean, I don't know. You go Marcus Mariota, Jim Garoppolo, Justin Fields. I just don't think Sam Darnold's going there. I don't know that this isn't a free agent quarterback year. Daniel Jones ain't your guy. Where are you going? Kirk Cousins? Is Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins is going to, I promise you this, and you can mark the tape today, I don't care. Kirk Cousins is going to be somebody's stopgap for next year. Whether it's the Raiders, whether it's the Jets, whether it's the Giants, he's going to be somebody, not the Giants. He's going to be somebody's stopgap next year.
I say go draft a guy.
Where, dude? How are you drafting? Where are you drafting? Like,
I'm trying to figure out when they're drafting.
Well, they
you could be in the Dylan Gabriel,
I was going to say him.
Milroe conversation, bring a guy in, but there's going to be another veteran on that team, and it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers.
It could be Dylan Gabriel.
I'd like that for the Jets.
Could be Jalen Milroe. I'm not sold on Jalen Milroe, but could be.
I'd be surprised if he worked out.
I want to know what the hell you're evaluating on Aaron Rodgers. Well, I mean, we're going to see. Does he want to? I mean, it's the right answer. Don't get me wrong, because you can't say hell no and close the door. You can't say, oh yeah, he's our guy, because well, he's not. And you don't want to be disrespectful. I mean, it's the only answer he could give, and it was the right answer. And I'm glad he was firm about it. I'm going to give you the same answer every time.
Sure, that was rehearsed.
I'm sure it was. I promise you that was like, all right, how are we going to handle this?
Yep.
And they're going to ask it 57 different ways. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
95.9 FM and AM 610, the sports animal. Here's Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck.
Well, you got a Super Bowl set. You got coaches taking place. You got one job still open in the National Football League. People want to fire Sean McDermott because they can't beat the Chiefs. He's gotten them to where they are. It's the opening drive. Good morning to you. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. Zay is in today as well. Kind of a look at that. We got like a full house today. Kind of feels like a real show, JJ, for crying out loud, huh?
Look at us.
JJ's up in beautiful Boise, Idaho. Did you guys catch? I mean, there was some good stuff last night. Did you catch the Caleb Love shot at Arizona to send that game against Iowa State in overtime, and then Arizona State wins in overtime? But you didn't catch that half-court shot?
Yeah, Caleb Love.
Wow. Catch that one. Catch that one.
Not good for the majority of that game, and then just went off after that.
Yeah. Cooper Flagg was sick last night. NC State was really good early, and then Duke came back behind Cooper Flagg. And JJ, I'm going to guess preceding that, I know you watched this. Did you catch the golf league that went overtime? Jupiter
overtime. Rory.
Tiger versus Rory. Jupiter Golf Links versus the Boston, whatever they are, and we went overtime in the golf league last night. Keegan Bradley missed a putt. They threw the hammer a couple of times. Like, there was a record for the hammer being thrown. You know how they do overtime in the golf league, by the way?
Closest to the pin?
They do. Yeah, they set it up. It's a best of three.
It had me intrigued.
Yeah. Did you? So you did watch. You did watch. See?
It was on. Yeah, they had it on in the gym.
Zay's going like, what? Do you not know about the golf league?
I heard it was going on during the show yesterday afternoon, but I didn't know exactly what it was.
So they've got this unbelievable looking place, and it's in Florida, right, JJ?
Tracks.
SoFi Golf, it's this arena with this massive. They got massive golf simulator. They set up like 3 surfaces: real grass, real rough, and sand. And then, depending on how far the shot is, you hit from different places. And it's team golf. So it was Tiger, Tom Kim, and Jason Kisner, I think, against Rory, Keegan Bradley, and I forgot who the third was. And it's team golf. And they play 15 holes, and they play different formats. First is alternate shots, and then they play singles matches. And they got little special rules, and they got timing. And it's actually, to me, and the green, the way they got the green set up, so they got sand traps. The green changes on every hole. They got these little how do you describe them, JJ? What's underneath the green to make the undulations different, like little elevators, and so each hole the green changes, and you got to try to read it. And they're playing indoor golf with crowds. It's wow. It's
well, that's the way it should be if you're looking for something different.
Yeah,
not an entirely different golf league where you're like, well, we play 3 days and wear shorts. Like, this is an hour plus, like, you're in and you're out. Like, that's what you want that's different. Not just, hey, it's more of the same, but one day less, and we might play some music.
And we play music, and we wear shorts, and we have a shotgun start.
Like, this is, like, if you want an alternative to the PGA Tour and, you know, and trying to be different, like, this is it. It's just dudes having fun on a simulator, and there you go.
And there's money on it, obviously. But it was so cool. They were all super stoked, and it was Boston Common. That's who it was. Jupiter Links versus Boston Common. But it was great. There was pressure, shots, and watching these guys. Oh, it was Adam Scott was the other one. Keegan Bradley, Adam Scott, and Rory. You got big name players talking bleep a little bit. and I love it. But Zay, I'll watch golf. Like I don't care. I love it. But it's just fascinating to me.
The simulator is technology. Kudos to golf for adjusting with the technology. Now, you don't think this will ever overtake?
It's not the intent. No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Nice.
It's not the intent. It's to add.
They saw what Live Golf was doing, and you're like, you know what? We're going to make golf fun without trying to play entire rounds of golf outside.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, the intent is not to overtake it. It's to add to it. And right now the West Coast swing's going on. You have Pebble Beach this week, which is kind of my favorite one to watch ever. Period. That and the Masters, but they were in San Diego at Torrey Pines last week, where Harris English won, and then Scotty Scheffler's making his debut this week. So they'll be at Torrey and up at Pebble, and I love. I don't know. Do you do golf at all, Zay? Do you watch it all?
So I'm not good at swinging.
It's hard, dude.
Golf, baseball, and I couldn't even go to Top Golf. And I couldn't even hit the ball there.
Really?
Yeah, I could. I was worried about.
Do you
throwing
embarrass yourself when you go up there?
Well,
because everybody's going to Top Golf.
Yes. It was pretty embarrassing, but I also didn't want to swing hard enough and throw the club. It was
That'd
a
be
lot
a bad
of
look.
Yeah, a lot of stuff going through my brain there.
Easy, swing easy, dude. Let the club do the work. Swing. Wait till we get Nick Nee on here coming up starting in April, and we do golf tips and talk golf.
I'm with it.
And we've been trying to do the Nick Nee project for years with JJ and get his swing good. Swing easy. Let the club do the work. I mean, watch these guys. They don't swing hard. I mean, they swing hard, but it looks easy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's all on the hips.
And it's all in a lot of stuff. Somebody was told me there's 236 things in a golf swing to think about, from your stance to your grip to your takeaway. It's insanity. It's so damn hard. If you ever, it's not safe for the radio, but if you ever Google Tommy Lasorda's rant on golf swings.
Okay.
Oh, when he went nuts on JJ, you heard that one, right? Where everything's like, you got to be shh. And the ball's sitting right there. Dave Kingman's sitting up there with 50,000 bleeping people out there, and a guy's throwing 95 miles an hour, and he's supposed to hit the ball. And this guy, the guy coughed. What's wrong with it? Throw the guy out for coughing. It's a beautiful rant Tommy Lasorda went on. Oh, it's good. It was really, 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 really good. All right, 505-246-0610. Your emails come in, Jeff at sportsanimалabq.com. JJ Sarah wants to talk about the Lady Lobos. Remember a couple of years ago, Eduardo said postseason had been reconsidered and Lobo Athletics wouldn't participate just to play. It would have been one of those, it would have to be one of the premier tournaments. I'm guessing that philosophy remains, which would eliminate the WNIT. Is that correct? Or do you know where that all stands?
That is correct. That's why I've been discussing being a top 100 team is so important if you want to be a postseason team. Because the NCAA finally added the NIT component to the women's side. So the WNIT before was a 64-team field that was ran by a third party.
Okay.
So that's why it felt like every team was going to the WNIT every year because it was a gigantic field. Well, the NCAA a couple years ago created the WBIT on the women's side, which equals what the NIT is now on the men's side.
The W bit. Okay.
So if you don't get to NCAA tournament, it's the WBIT tournament, which is then, the next, I think 32 best teams. And then after that, you still have the WNIT, which is reconfigured a bit, but that would be a quote unquote third tier tournament.
And a pay to play tournament, probably.
Yeah.
All right. Lynn wants to know, will this be a typical game at Taco Bell, Jeff? At some point in the first half, are we going to hear the voice, JJ Buck, say, quote, it's a gap of 5 to an unhurried Bradbury with the Lady Lobos, and it's going to come down to who is best down the stretch like it always does in Boise, right? I'm not sure what that means from Lynn, but I think it's going to be a close game down the stretch.
If it is, Lobos have to figure out the fourth quarter. They are plus 39 in the third quarter and minus 43 in the fourth quarter.
Figure that out, dude. I mean, is that just getting tight? You know this team.
Ask Coach about it tonight.
Yeah. I mean, is that something for your pregame show? Is that what's the issue with the fourth quarter? Do they just get tight?
Yeah, they've been really good out of the locker room in these close games. They've battled like Fresno State. They pushed the lead to 10. It was ultimately 7 at the start of the fourth quarter, and then just bang, the last. Fresno State took a 61-60 lead at 5:37 mark Sunday, and outscored the Lobos 16-4 the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's something. All right, Bourne's in. Bourne's the one who knows all the fans from all the league or all the teams in the league. He was talking to Utah State fans, JJ, and they're pissed. They want to know why Lobo basketball gets a week off to rest and prepare. They can't wait to get the heck out of your league. Isn't that Lobo fan every time? How come they always get a bye before they play us? Isn't that right?
A giant conspiracy that they knew somehow with what is it, the fourth coach in the last 6 years at Utah State was going to be this good.
Yeah. Everybody gets a bye, and so that means you're coming off a bye at some point. And you're going to be rested to play somebody. This one says, "Boy, I couldn't agree with Juan Jose more, Jeffrey and Isaiah Johnson." This one says, "Lobo football attendance has never recovered from your league losing BYU, Utah, and TCU. People aren't coming to University Stadium ticket windows just because you're a little higher in the pecking order of UC Davis, Northern Illinois, and Chickasaw State." It's from Dan.
Well,
I know. Well, there's a couple of things there. I don't know that you're ever going to start averaging 30,000 again. I'd love to see it. I do believe people will come out and support a winner more so than a team that's not. JJ, there's a lot of metrics that go into success in football. Was that 9-4 year that when the Lobos won the bowl game last in 2016 when they led the nation of Russia? Was that a successful season?
I think it was.
Right, but it wasn't successful from ticket sales. So I don't know that Dan's ever going to go to a game, period. And it tends to be the same people who have this argument that say, well, you might as well just drop down to FBS. Now, I don't know if Dan's one of those people, but the same people who have that same argument are usually, well, yeah, then just drop down to FBS and you'll win and then people will show up. Really? How does that make sense to you? Because it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610. We got something coming up for you at 9 o'clock. Kenny Thomas will be here. We'll kick it with Kenny. Go over Lobo basketball. Big win over the weekend in Vegas. Want to hear his thoughts. And then I want his thoughts on Jimmy Butler, too. Holy smokes. Can we talk about Jimmy Butler when we get back? He's suspended again. This is, I don't know if it's the most botched
Can I
thing
give you the beginning of what he's going to say?
Yeah, go ahead.
Back in my day, the entire roster was worth $50 million, and this guy's getting $50 million for 1 year.
All right, put that on your bingo card right in the middle. If he hits it, then you get a breakfast burrito on Friday. Is that fair? Because I think
back when I played is a free space.
Yeah, I think that's right. Hey, back when I was buying jewelry. No, look, I got a best jewelry store period for you. The best jewelry store period, and not even just in Albuquerque. I think they're the best jewelry store that I've ever seen. John Thomas Jewelers is terrific, and they're right here in Albuquerque. They are just spectacular. You got to go out of your way to want to hit them. You're not going to find them in the mall. You're going to have to go to the third floor of the Lewis University building and go find John Thomas Jewelers. But you're going to be glad you did. On-site, state-of-the-art design center. That means they can make anything you want. They've got the ability to custom make any ring you can dream of. I remember him showing me, somebody sent him a picture, and he made jewelry out of this picture of like a leaf. That's how good they are. They're the only 5-star Google-rated full-service jewelry store in town. Fastest growing jeweler in New Mexico for 3 straight years, and they've been voted the best jeweler in Albuquerque for 4 straight years. Even voted America's coolest jewelry store by In-Store Magazine. But listen to what they got going right now for Valentine's Day. They will match your purchase with a pair of equal value stud earrings. So if you buy a ring, a necklace, whatever you buy, that will be amazing from John Thomas Jewelers. They will gift you a pair of lab-grown diamond studs absolutely free and match the amount of your purchase. So if you buy a necklace for $1,000, you get a $1,000 pair of studs. You buy a $500 bracelet, they match you with a $500 pair of stud earrings. You buy, I don't know, $5,000 engagement ring, they match you with a $5,000 pair of stud earrings. Go buy and take advantage of this. And you get, listen, put them away, man. You got Christmas taken care of. Or you got our birthday taken care of, or whatever. You got the next one taken care of on John. And they're going to be beautiful. Go take care of Valentine's Day. It is the spot, and especially if you're looking for an engagement ring, there's nowhere else. JohnThomasJewelers.com. Visit them on Louisiana, 1 block south of Manal. 3rd floor of the Lewis University building, 2440 Louisiana Northeast, Suite 310.
This report is...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Bluebell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
You gonna bet the Super Bowl? Play Steve, you like Prize Picks, or you play one of those underdog games, or
might find a sports book. Absolutely.
So, uniforms were announced. The Eagles will be the home team. The Eagles opted for their midnight greens, and the Chiefs will wear their whites. So, what does that mean? Does it whatever? One team's in dark, one team's in light.
You know what it means, Chef?
Tell me.
It means nothing. It's rigged. We already know Kansas City is winning before the game even played.
It's a good take.
Yeah. So the game's over, right? But will they cover? I
They'll
know
find
who's
a way
going to
keep
win.
it interesting, but in the end, it's going to be Patrick Mahomes handing that Super Bowl trophy to Taylor Swift.
I think it's Roger Goodell's just going to give it straight to her. None she owns the team. Check this out. The team's wearing white. Last 20 Super Bowls are 17-3. 17-3 is convincing.
Very.
I don't know what sort of trick. Now, last year, the team wearing red won. The only two teams to hoist the Lombardi while wearing home colors over the last decade are Chiefs last year and the Eagles.
Oh.
During the Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes era, the Chiefs were 2-1 in red, 1-0 in white. Eagles wore green during the 2022 Super Bowl when they lost, are 1-2 wearing their home colors in the big game. 17-3 is a big number, is it not?
Very.
I mean, I will not place a bet determinant on the color jersey someone was wearing. However, that's a pretty hard one.
That might be a good just
with.
money line bet.
Right?
I'm taking team in white.
And then how about this one? The last time the league's leading rusher won a Super Bowl was in 1998.
Who was that?
Terrell Davis.
I didn't even know Terrell Davis led the league in rushing.
Yeah, 1998.
Damn.
Before him, it was Emmett, of course.
I mean, look, I'm not telling you how to bet and how to spend your money and how to use your money and whatever, but 17-3 for teams wearing the white uniforms is a pretty convincing one, if you ask me. But I mean, who's going to ask me? If you're going to ask me of something really cool to do, look, I'm big on kindness, helping people, doing the right thing, and I don't know if you know the urgency for blood and donating blood, but it's real. And we are doing a blood drive coming up on Friday, January 31st. I'll get you all the details for it. Andrew Sharpless is here from Vitalant, who's going to be, well, they're kind of heading this whole thing up. First of all, good morning, and how are you?
Good morning, Jeff. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm well, man. It's one of those things where I think you think about it every once in a while when somebody says, hey, did you give blood, or there's a blood drive, and how often people stop by, and I haven't done it nearly enough. I have in the past. The importance of giving blood, and then I want to get into the details of what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah, it's the blood on the shelves that saves lives, and it takes about 250 units per day on average to supply just the state of New Mexico.
So when you sit down, how many they pull a unit out of you?
One, sometimes two, if you qualify for that.
How do you qualify? You just have a lot
It's
of blood?
based on height, weight, and how much blood you got.
You got a lot of
around.
units floating around.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
All right, we're doing this. Give people the details on this, and I'll give them the incentives on it.
Sure. So Friday, January 31st.
Yeah.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at American Home Furniture and Mattress Outlet Clearance Center at I-25 in Comanche. And our goal for this blood drive this year is 150 units.
All right, and here's what we're going to do for you. We've got men's Lobo tickets, and not just any game. You guys, this is kind of the game. Utah State, if they win tomorrow night, Lobos and Utah State are tied for first. Well, Utah State will be in the pit on the 16th. We got Lobo tickets for the first 40 people to sign up and donate. Everyone who donates will be in a drawing for one of three. Does that say $10,000 gift cards?
That's right.
Is that what that says to me?
That's correct.
$10,000 gift card. Now it's a nationwide contest. Right. There's 100 pints of Bluebell ice cream, 1 pint for every person, up to 100 people. And we're doing this with Vitalant, with American Home Furniture, Mattress Plus, and Bluebell ice cream. And how long does it take? I mean, people. There's going to be a lot of people who say, "Well, I don't have time. I'm afraid of needles." I mean, I know you've heard all the excuses.
Yeah, typically it takes about 30 to 45 minutes.
It's really not that bad, man.
Yeah, I'd say give yourself an hour. Give yourself a good hour to come in and get it done, especially, we're hoping to be busy. It might take a few extra minutes than it would normally.
And there's a little bit of traffic. There's some construction over there, right in the middle of the construction zone. But it's at Comanche and Pan American Freeway, right there at Comanche and I-25 at the American Home Furniture. Here's the deal. For those of you, and I know there's a lot of people, I know you run into this all the time. There's people who say, I'm afraid of needles. I haven't done it. I don't want to. You've got all the excuses. What if I told you if you spent, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, you might get Lobo tickets, you're going to get a pint of ice cream, you're going to register for a chance to win 10 grand. Oh, and you might save a life. And with all due respect, nobody loves needles. It's not that bad. It's a little prick in your arm, and then you don't feel it anymore, and then they give you little snacks. And by the way, you're doing something really, really important. I don't know. Does that help sum it up?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I've been doing this 25 years, Jeff, and I haven't
right?
met anybody yet that likes needles. So,
No. How'd you get in the blood game?
Oh, you know, I started.
I mean, honestly, is that a
right
career
after,
path?
Yeah, yeah. Right after I got out of high school, I started doing it in college, and just kind of stayed.
Really?
Yeah.
So, what was your major in college?
Medical laboratory technology.
All right, I guess that kind of said, all right, I'm going to get in the blood game. I'm going to do that. I think it's really cool. Is there a website people can? So, do we want people to pre-register? How do we want people to do that?
Yeah. So, especially if you want to get those Lobo men's basketball tickets for Utah State, we want you to go online, make your appointment, and you can do that at the station website, sportsanimалabq.com.
Okay.
You can also go to vitetalent.org, or you can call our offices.
Hey, this is pretty easy. Boys and girls, you're there all the time. sportsanimalabq.org. Make some plans. It's this Friday. Can you build something into your schedule? We're there from 10 till 6 on Friday over at the American Home Furniture Mattress Plus on Comanche and I-25. Stop by, give some blood. If you want to get in on those tickets, and I know you want to go see the Lobos in Utah State, here's your opportunity. Help save a life. Get tickets to go see the Lobos in Utah State. And you get to pick your flavor of the ice cream, or is it just whatever? I mean, I get to pick, right?
Yeah, last year we had multiple flavors. I assume we're going to have the same.
They're all
this year.
freaking
Yep.
good too. Dude, it's good to see you. I congrats. 25 years in the blood business.
Yes, sir.
I love that. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know that many people in the blood business. People always ask me, how'd you get into the bull business? Well, I don't really know. So that's why it probably wasn't always the career path, right? But you realize, all right, this is it.
Not what I intended, but
yeah, but kind of what
here
you
we are,
dig.
right.
And you're doing great things for a lot of people. Want to say thank you to Vitetalent and to Andrew for what you're doing. You're helping save lives. Thank you in advance, Sports Animals, for making this a priority, for putting this on your calendar this coming Friday. It's Friday, January 31st. Go to our website, sportsanimalabq.com. All the info is there. You can win gift cards, Lobo tickets, ice cream, but bottom line, not just on Friday. Think about giving blood and make that part of what you do. Help save a life, and you're going to feel really good about yourself. And it doesn't hurt at all. It's good to see you, my friend.
You too, Jeff.
It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Traffic on Paseo del Norte with
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep. All your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
Is there a age limitation or a minimum age to give blood? And Andrew told us it's 16 years old, but you need a parent's permission for 16 to 18, right?
That is correct.
505-246-0610. Kenny's going to be with us coming up at 8 o'clock. JJ Buck is up in Boise, Idaho. ZJ is here in studio. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Omar is sent me this this Facebook story. He said fans are done with Coach Jones. They're jumping off the bandwagon. So Omar Zay is a long time. Everything is the greatest thing ever with the Cowboys, and he's jumped on the Rams wagon. Like he was looking for a new team, so he jumped on the Rams wagon.
It's a risky one.
Whatever, man. Aren't they all? I mean,
not the Chiefs one.
The Chiefs isn't risky?
No.
Jack says, boy, I sure don't get this, Jeff. I don't see how the useless refs could have said that call stands. There was no call. If you watch the Chiefs replay, you hear Tony Romo go, look, Jim, one ref's marking it on one side with 40 and the other one's down here, Jim. He did mark it on the other side of 40. JJ, he's going back to the call, Jack is, on the fourth down play with Josh Allen. The far side referee absolutely marked it on the other side of the stripe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a first down.
If you look, there's an angle from that sideline that you can see straight down the line. You can't see the football. So it's a guessing game.
There's
whether
just
you got it or not.
Well, there's an angle. I thought there was an angle that was pretty clear with the ball was to his chest, that his chest was on the stripe. And the first down point to gain was short of the stripe.
He got over the line for like 0.6 seconds and then went backwards. And I thought
it was 0.4.
0.4, yeah, give or take. It was right around there. And the original spot was bad. The original spot was terrible.
Did you guys think the catch that hit the ground was a catch?
Well, by that description, no.
Well, but it hit the ground, did it not?
Yeah.
The ball hit the ground and his hands were on top of it, not under it.
Yeah. The tough one also. I'm with you.
I'm just telling you, man, people are losing their minds. And I watch these games, and I don't feel – first of all, the situations are not created. Those were not penalty calls, okay? The ones in the past, the people are yelling the Chiefs get every call. Those were penalties, pass interference calls, right? That you're like, how is that pass interference? How is that roughing, right? Those were flags that came out. These ones were organic. There were no flags on these. These were both replay. Both had time. Both had multiple sets of eyes with multiple sets of cameras on them. And they both went the Chiefs' way, and certainly one of them, it feels unanimous to me. JJ, you might be on the fence, but it feels unanimous that everybody thinks that was a first down. And I feel like it's about 75-25 people felt that the pass was an incomplete pass.
Yeah, that one I actually think is worse than the first down one, just because I don't know how you could say ultimately it ended up being even a tied possession with it. And I know they do have changes to that rule where you can have possession and the ball can touch the ground as long as it doesn't move.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I was looking at that as interception, incomplete pass, even before I got to the thought of a tie-up on the ground and tie goes to the receiver at that point in time. But those are the ones where it's easy. Oh, yep, just get in the referee's ear. Not a first down. Oh, that's a catch. Go to Kansas City.
It's crazy because they're all going there. At one point, there's going to be a call. I think that's just going to hose them at some point. It might be in the Super Bowl. I don't know. And I don't know how much referees hear. They're human beings just like players are, right? I'm going to guess they have social media. They got meetings. They hear all this noise too. At some point, is it going to get in their ear? Man, we can't have another close play go their way. Or they're all just trying to call it the way they see it. I firmly believe they're all in the field trying to call it the way they see it. I think they got hosed on the fourth. I think the fourth down play was more egregious than the catch. You feel the other way. And I'm cool with that. Zay, which one did you think was, or are they both equally bad to you?
They're both pretty bad. But that fourth down, I mean, and also the Bills, that was their second down. Give credit to the Chiefs. Their defense,
no doubt,
the whole game, their defense was making it real tough on Buffalo to get not the easy stuff, but Buffalo, whether it was goal line for a fourth down or whether it was the actual goal line defense, the Chiefs were really making them work. And it shouldn't have been that close anyways. I think that was their third time they called that QB sneak.
Yeah, stop it.
Second time on that drive.
No, I'm with you. I'm over it too. Like do something different. At some point, you can't be absolved of all blame in this thing.
Yeah, you're not Philly. I mean, even Phillies was kind of iffy in their game. You just got to figure out a different, be more creative.
Yeah. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. What do you think of Raiders owner Mark Davis? Saying that Tom Brady, and I don't know what role Tom Brady is going to end up ultimately playing here, is filling the void left by John Gruden. Davis said, quote, bringing in Tom Brady was bringing somebody on the football side that I had been lacking having here in the organization. Back in, I guess it was 2018 when John Gruden was here, he was somebody that I brought in and really expected to be that person on the football side that would bring stability to the organization. He had a 10-year contract and all that, and his head was chopped off, which is crazy right there. And we were put in a really bad position as an organization, end quote. Couple of things there. Was his head chopped off or did – no. I mean, that was obviously someone was out to get John Gruden and leaked those emails. I'm going to tell you this. I will give him credit for saying, you know what, I need a football guy. I need someone who knows football more than me. I need to, and if Gruden was that guy, the only thing in that whole conversation or in that whole quote that's a little wonky to me was Gruden's head chopped off. But the concept of bringing in a football guy, JJ, for Mark Davis to sit there and say, you know what, I needed someone who knows football more than me. I think every Cowboy fan in America is going, yes.
Yep.
No, that's just an ego thing. There's people in that building that know more football than him, but they don't have the name recognition. That's not him acknowledging that it was John Gruden was a celebrity head coach, good football guy, but that's someone that an owner could defer to. An owner can't defer to Antonio Pierce. An owner can't defer to some guy you've never heard of. And of course, you're not going to say you know more than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So, yes, but if that makes sense. So, yeah, there's probably guys who know football in that building, and I don't doubt that. And I know Antonio Pierce absolutely does. But what I heard there is I need a guy who's not my coach. Now, Gruden was your coach, but you gave him so much more power. I need a guy who's not my head coach that knows football to help turn this thing around.
You did have a GM for 1 year that you fired.
You did. No, you just got rid of him the other day. Yeah.
I took it as it's someone else that he feels kind of back to the ego comment a little bit. I think it's someone that he felt comfortable leaning on. He's like, I have another guy that when it comes to fact checking or maybe, reviewing, signing off on my decisions, it's someone else that I can trust in that I'm confident will lead me in the right direction.
JJ, your point's really interesting. Is it just another celebrity guy? Right? Is it high profile? Look at me. I'm bringing in a big celebrity guy.
No, I think Tom Brady is someone I would listen to. I think Tom Brady is invested in this, so I agree with that. But I do find it funny that I don't find it funny. I think this is Mark Davis can't be overshadowed by some random GM or some guy that you've never heard of. But when it comes to John Gruden or Tom Brady, he'll tell you, of course, these are my confidence now. These are the guys I can trust and lean into because everyone knows who they are.
So which path do you like better? You like Jerry Jones or Mark Davis?
Those are great two different options. You can't be both.
Yeah, which one do you like
it's
better?
Red and green right there.
Well,
Christmas.
We'll see because there's a lot of good football people and organizations, and it ain't easy to win in that league.
And there are two organizations who are not very good right now.
Yeah, it's not like the Raiders have a lot to show for themselves.
With all due respect, there are two organizations who are not winning.
The reason it's a really good question is because, and Mark Davis is like, if he was to adopt Jerry Jones's mentality, if he's acknowledging that he doesn't know, all the football things, you don't want him trying to make all the decisions. Jerry has proven that he may not be the best decision maker, but we can blame that on age And I can also highlight some guys that he's signed off on a draft that ended up being great draft picks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, outside of the past 3 years, I mean, think Jerry's the same guy that made the Amari Cooper trade. He put together a lot of good teams, whereas I don't know if Mark Davis can say that. But at the same time, if Jerry was...
same damn results, aren't they?
Yes. In the end, yes.
Yeah. Isn't that what matters?
Yes. If Jerry was to take on Mark Davis's approach, I think the Cowboys, as of right now, would have more success.
All right, when we get back, there's one team that's had 3 coaches over the last, 5.5 decades. But they can't get quarterback right. What are they going to do? We'll get into the Steelers next. Hey, who says that dry January has to be boring? Twin Peaks has you covered with Heineken 0.0. All the flavors, 0 proof, and during lunch it's just $3.50 when you add it to one of their lunch combos, which start at $7.99. Hearty soups, crisp salads, mouth-watering sandwiches. Twin Peaks, make sure your midday meal hits the spot. And don't forget those 29-degree drafts for the rest of your group. So dry January just got a whole lot better. And do you know that they're hosting Bourbon and Brews every Friday? Every Friday in January. And that means you got one left. Friday from 5 to 7. Experience bold barrel-aged bourbon, refreshing brews, and all the energy you need to start your weekend. There'll be bourbon tasting, giveaways, and a lingerie costume party to keep the night exciting. Pair that with Twin Peaks made-from-scratch menu. You got yourself a heck of an evening. Join the fun at Twin Peaks every Friday night. It's great drinks, incredible foods, and the best sports bar in town. It's at Twin Peaks.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore. Just like riding a bicycle, I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here. New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
For your surprisingly great rates, contact your local State Farm agent today.
If you want the real deal, call State Farm agent Marty Size in Albuquerque today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Spell, get ready!
My coach. My teacher. My older sisters. My grandma. My brother. My tutor. My dad and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All In Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
High school sports are back. You can watch every ProView Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProViewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
What's going on, Lobo Nation?
He's my quarterback. Wait, how many times am I going to say that today? Who's my quarterback, man? My coach. Steelers owner and president Art Rooney said securing a quarterback is their priority, and his preference is either Justin Fields or Russell Wilson this offseason. Quote, I think both of them I think both of them see themselves as starters, and I don't know what they want to share the same job again next year. Stop it with this already. If you're going with one or the other, it's easy, right? You want the one that won the job last year that you went with, that played for you. You made your decision, didn't you?
It feels like the coaching staff absolutely made the decision. Mike Tomlin was always going to go with Russell Wilson.
How much is Russell Wilson worth if you sign him? Because this is really interesting. From the team's perspective, well, I'll sign you for $20 million a year, and I'll give you a 3-year deal. From his perspective, he probably thinks he's earned, what, $150 million? I mean, like, what is he, honestly, what does he think he's worth if he goes on the market?
That. No one's paying him that.
No one's paying him that.
It's
And
not happening.
And the noise of him reuniting with Pete Carroll in Vegas is ridiculous, right? Tell me that's ridiculous.
Definitely sounds ridiculous.
It's not option one, but it could just become an option because the Sam Darnold is the one you want to get.
Okay.
And it's like Sam Darnold, Kirk Cousins, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers,
Justin Fields. Are you over Justin Fields? He's not a quarterback.
Russell Wilson is on the market. Justin Fields is the quarterback in Pittsburgh.
One thing about the Wilson story that doesn't make it seem too crazy is that you got to remember, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll, the whole Super Bowl debacle, they were on the same side. So it was Pete that called the play, and Russell could have made the adjustment,
It
but
was
he didn't.
Pete who traded him out of Seattle, if you recall.
Oh, do you think there's bad blood there still a
I don't
little
know if
bit?
there is or not, but supposedly they've done podcasts together.
Yeah.
Kenny's going to be here. Play bingo. It's the opening drive. Kenny Thomas next. Former Lobo great. 11 years in the NBA. We'll talk some hoops. Kicking it with Kenny on the opening drive. On 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Try this shit better than all my intentions. Locked in shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
I was born in New Mexico. I grew up on these streets. I got in trouble here, and I fought my way back in boot camp. I love New Mexico, especially the people. Now I'm using my training, tenacity, and energy to fight for you. I'm Adam Oki, lawyer, fighter, and New Mexican. I was a local athlete here in New Mexico, so I'm proud to support your local athletes.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
These days, it's important to know people and businesses you can trust. There's a lot of places where you can buy a vehicle, but there's only a few local dealerships where you'll find honest people who have your best interests in mind. And Fiesta Kia is one of them. We've been helping our neighbors save money and drive dependable cars for years, and we'd love to help you. With new Kias arriving daily, you'll love our selection and the peace of mind you'll get driving a Kia from Fiesta.
We were, I wanted to watch that first game, the Eagles and the Commanders.
Of course, Kenny had a huge crowd around him, everyone screaming his name.
Dude, he's Kenny Thomas.
You tripping, bro.
Yeah, you got to get the velvet ropes, like hanging out with Brian Urlacher in Chicago back in the day. You just got to get the velvet ropes and get the people away.
A dude that was right there, he's going to call into my show on Saturday, you guys, if you guys happen to hear this guy call in.
Is he going to be up that late?
Yeah, 9:30. That's not too bad.
That's 7 o'clock, so I'm going to really extend that post-game show.
Hey, for you, I will patiently wait because you're my guy, and I know you're going to ball out that game.
How was post-game show after beating UNLV? Kenny Thomas it's Lobo Live with Kenny Thomas over on News Radio KQB after every Lobo game. I thought, I know I just asked you 5 questions right there. I thought it was gutsy, gritty, tough road win.
Yeah.
It was, now you're going to have to find more than 3 guys to score. You can't win like that every night, but you could win like that on one night. And to go in there and get a gutsy road win, yep, D-Don Thomas missed a free throw.
Yeah.
And okay, you capitalized, you made plays. I just thought those are the kind of wins that championship teams pull off on the road.
Those are the kind of wins that Donovan Dent, the champion, does. And he comes up with, like, come on, 34 points, and I think it's like his 4th 30-point game. And he came out and he made a statement on the road. You know what I mean? This is one of those things to where me and you never disagree on. It's very minimal. But the fact that you said all those things, you highlighted it. You highlighted everything perfectly. The fact that Nelly came out and dominated that game against UNLV team that has some pretty good bigs inside. But the fact that how Dent was determined and the way that he took advantage of coming out with all that energy and hitting a 3 and then scoring I think he scored a 2 and then he hit a 3. I'm like, okay, this is a whole different dynamic. Obviously, it was probably one of those facilities because it was more Lobo fans down there. And thank you, Lobo Nation, for going. Obviously, it's Vegas, right? But UNLV, man, that's sad with them playing the kind of ball that they're playing that nobody was there. But the Lobos brought that energy and it was needed. And they said, they literally made a statement. And then they get an opportunity to go down, feed off of what they just did, go down to Utah State, man, because they're playing some great ball. And it's going to be very interesting how the Lobos come out. If they come out timid, it's going to be interesting because they can't get in a hole down there because I don't see them getting out of it.
We know Donovan is a good filter, but what do you notice when he realizes he has to take over a game? He kind of feels that it's going to be one of those nights where he has to become the scorer.
That's a great point because keep in mind, there's games where Donnie is trying to get guys involved. He's trying to get them opportunities to get going. There's that one game just recently they dominated and beat them by like 20, almost 20 points in the
State.
Yeah, and the way that they were dropping dimes and sharing the ball. When Amzil threw the ball behind the back in the corner to I think it was AB or CJ in the corner, you just felt the energy. When the ball is moving, man, it's the best thing, especially being a big man. Nelly was even involved, being a big man, getting the ball and the ball's flowing. But everybody's been on Amzil. But at the same time, Dent, even elaborate more on your question, he's that guy. He took 20-something shots. I don't care if Dent takes 40 shots, to be honest. He's that guy. And if he has it in him, hey, 30's fine with me.
The three of them, Dent, Nelly, and True, went 25 for 46.
Yep, and the bench had 3 points only.
That means everybody else went 3 for, 13?
Yeah. I think they only scored 2 field goals and I think a free throw.
Yeah, I got 3. I got 3 other field goals. Borovichinen had 2 and CJ Nolan had 1. That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And JJ and I talked about it. I don't think that's sustainable. JJ said it doesn't need to be, and he's right.
Yeah.
You can't win every night like that, but you can win that night like that. And JJ, I'm going to go to your point on this. When a guy like Donovan Dent realizes, all right, I've got to do it tonight.
Yeah.
And to watch him take over, to me, that's pretty special.
That's every night. But
it's not every night. He doesn't have to do it every night.
But I feel like when I say every night, his mindset should be that way every night. He's that guy on the team to where he wants to be liked, I feel like. I wanted to be liked. I shared the ball, you know what I mean? This team is a different, I can relate to this team a little bit, especially when they're moving the ball because they have so many pieces. So when Donnie figures out when to take over, that's when they're going on runs, right? But you got to keep in mind if teams, and I feel like Utah State, they're going to mix it up with him. There's going to be some 1-3-1, some 3-2. There's going to be some zone, I feel like, because they did zone against Nevada.
And they pressured. Look, I watched the Nevada game. They pressured the guards.
Yeah.
They took Nevada completely out of what they were trying to do.
Out of it, full court.
Yeah.
And the Lobos have been doing that. They've been mixing it up as of late. I like how Patino's mixing it up, full court, just to not allow the point guard to come up and get into their sets, right? That can change the whole dynamic of that possession.
We're kicking it with Kenny. Kenny Thomas is in studio here on the Sports Animal.
Yeah, I think to your point, Kenny, is he has the feel of the game, and I don't think they win at Utah State if Lobos have 10 assists and it's just scoring. But it's this team understands what they need to do defensively. You know, the effort that's been there feels like everyone has their roles on this team.
Yeah,
and that's I think a big thing the rest of the way.
When you identify roles, I feel like everybody has a role when it comes to defense. And the bench, I mean, obviously the starters can score. They're starters, right? That was just proven in the last game the way they just did, right? But you have a bench to where you have another 3 to 5 guys that can come in and give you some nice possessions. The only way they're going to get those opportunities, and from what I've seen, is if they play defense. Those second chance points, those 50-50 balls, those things are key, especially when you go on the road. They're going to have to do, I hate to say this, but they're going to have to do everything pretty much perfect down there. And Utah State's going to have to, let's see what happens.
So on the defensive thing, Nelly's line was impressive.
Oh, yeah.
22 and 18. And JJ's got this stat here where Nelly's got 6 double-doubles in Mountain West games, and the next closest is 3. And if Donovan Dent wasn't running away with Player of the Year, Nelly Jr. Joseph, I think, would be up for it.
Oh, without a doubt.
But I'm impressed with his defense. There was a sequence where they went down low. I'm pretty sure it was Cherry, JJ, where he pump faked, double faked, up faked, down faked, every fake. And I thought Nelly's defense was great. He kicked it off, and I want to say it was to Thomas, and Thomas tried to get Donovan in the air, and they couldn't get a shot off. I want to say they took a 24-second violation. But to me, this team has got to be good defensively because they are a little bit hampered offensively.
Oh.
And I'm impressed. Like, I'm impressed with Nelly's defense, and I have been all league season.
Yeah, and
I'll go back to the UCLA game. Even before that, that's when he really impressed me, was how he defended the bigs in that game.
Oh, I totally agree. And you could tell the way that he came out, like he was going to make a statement in that game. The energy was there. And I hate to say this too, Nelly, with him being as long as he is, and Atiki, I feel like they need to protect the basket more, right? And I'm asking for more. I'm sorry, but I'm asking for more because
that's all right.
Those things have to happen. Okay, Nelly, you're a 5th-year senior. What are you trying to do? You're trying to get to the next level. This is where you need to identify certain things. If you're not getting the ball, Go dominate and get another 18 rebounds. That's where he can make a statement.
As a big, and look, everybody at this level is trying to get to the next one.
Yeah.
How much did you focus on defense? When you were really good offensively, you were able to step away from the basket. You were able to face the basket. Now you were undersized playing a 5. You should have been a power forward, but you were always playing the 5 because Daniel Santiago didn't get enough playing time. That's a whole other story. How much did you focus on defense as opposed to offense?
I think I'm up there in shot blocks. Okay. Right.
But so a lot of that was natural.
It's just instinctive, right?
Okay.
It's playing both ends of the floor, and it's trying to win, and it goes back to, like I said, when I had Clayton Shields and Royce Only and David Gibson, who was a general that was always looking for somebody first.
Yep.
And then you have a Lamont Long. There's times to where I didn't get shots, and it just happened, and I was double and triple teamed the majority of my career, and I don't know how I figured out some of the things I did. But when I say that, from what I've been seeing, the way that they've been moving the ball and flowing, that Boise State game was phenomenal.
Yeah, but I asked the question because I think this team is focused on defense. How much, and maybe it's changed, maybe it's evolved, maybe it's coach by coach, maybe it's individual by individual. The focus on what you do defensively. You know, I think of baseball players, they're always in the batting cage, but damn, dude, you don't ever see how many ground balls a third baseman takes, right?
Yeah.
You know, we all go to the driving range, we hit balls, but how often do you work on your short game and your putts?
Yeah.
Right? There's so many aspects to a game. I'm as impressed as I am with what Nelly's become offensively. I think defensively, this team, and it starts in the middle with him, have come a long, long way from what they were.
I totally agree. Come on, man. Let's keep it honest. This game nowadays is offense. It's offense. And you notice that Patino's been pushing. Patino's been pushing defense. And I love it because this is a running team. If they limit shots, obviously on the defensive end, they're going to get out, and this is when they're at their best, right? But Nelly, like you said, defense, I'm going to say it again. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. But I need more from him and Atiki when it comes to that. Hey, I'm here. You're not coming in my paint. And if you do, you're going to know I'm here, right? So, yeah.
So what are you seeing that you don't like defensively from Nelly?
No. I didn't say that, JJ. I didn't say that I didn't like what Nelly's doing. I'm saying I want more. When I see the opposing team getting into the paint, who's that guy that's blocking shots? Who's that guy that's that presence, right? Yeah, I'm asking for more.
All right, when we come back, you will get more. We're going to what's it like to go up to Utah State? That place is different. How do you win on the road? Do you like them? I think the buys, I say buy, the open spot in the schedule is coming at a perfect time. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you saw this, but Jimmy Butler's suspended again. We got to get to the NBA. Kenny's in studio. We're kicking it with Kenny Thomas on 95.9 FM at AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Dirty Boys present Fill in the Holes, Albuquerque's newest and...
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is ProView. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on ProView Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
The Yeller Sub, located on 7200 Montgomery Boulevard, serves breakfast all day long along with classic hot and cold subs. Don't forget about our shakes, malts and floats made with your favorite Blue Bell ice cream. 45 years and still going strong. Come on down to the Yeller Sub, official sandwich of ProView Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, red and green chili breakfast burritos, and frontier sweet rolls. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenprideabq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Kenny Thomas is in the studio, the former Lobo greats. Lobos will be at Utah State in Logan on Saturday, 7 o'clock, 6:30 pregame over on News Radio KKOP. And you can listen to Lobo Live after the show with Kenny Thomas and call in. JJ's up at Boise. He's got the ladies tonight. They'll be on the air at 6 o'clock, 6:30 tip. The voice of the Lobos, JJ Buck, courtside at Taco Bell. What's it? Extra Mile Arena? What is Extra Mile? Do you know?
I have no idea.
JJ Buck.
We do that all the time, huh? It's like Extra Mile Arena, but I don't know what extra mile is. We drive on Wantabo, have no idea who Wantabo, and nobody knows who Wantabo is.
No, what's that?
The street, dude, up in the Heights.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else.
No,
Wantabo.
Wantabo.
My gym is. That's how I know about it.
Yeah. But you know who Wantabo is? Ain't nobody know.
I've heard there's history behind that name.
I did too, and I couldn't remember it. I looked at it a bunch of times. My kids used to ask me all the time. All right, dude. I love where the open spot in the schedule is. There's 11 teams in the league. That means, you play midweek and you play weekend, and twice you're going to get an open spot. Mm-hmm. Lobos have this going to Utah State. They're 9-1. I love where the open spot in the schedule is to get the rest. You were in Vegas last week. You come home, get 2 days off. I mean, this plays out to me as good as it can with Utah State having to play tomorrow night against UNLV at home.
Yeah, with all the injuries, the nicks and the
plantar fasciitis on Amsiel is a big deal.
Yeah, it's huge, and him being able to get some days off and get some treatment, that's a whole different thing. But at the same time, I could see them not just taking any time off, right?
Well, they took Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, okay, cool. So then I as I expected, and then like midweek, and then they'll start amping it back up, and Yeah, I'm excited for this game this coming weekend.
JJ, who picks up slack if Amsil is and plantar fasciitis doesn't go away in a week? Do you look at Milicevic? And I want JJ's side, and then I certainly want where you come from. You got a guy who's a fifth-year guy who brings so much to you, and I get it. If his shot's off a little bit, but I think that's something really significant to watch, don't you?
Absolutely. Foot injuries with big guys. It's something that it's always going to have you feeling uneasy. You're going to need some more minutes out of the freshmen, and I think maybe the Lobos end up playing a little bit smaller, especially at Utah State with what they want to do, try to speed you up, go full court press so you can have maybe an extra ball handler on the floor, get some more minutes out of CJ as opposed to just trying to force one of the other bigs on the floor.
Yeah, I totally agree with it's if Amzil can't play, and I've had that. I haven't had it often, but it's bad. It's like needles, right? It can get really bad. Philip, like he's gonna have to be. I could see him being that X factor.
I think you're right.
I can see Jovan being that guy because he's been playing great, and he hasn't even been playing he hasn't been playing a lot of minutes.
Here's my deal, and JJ, tell me where this game concerns me because if I've got to go to the freshman and give him extended minutes of every environment, I would argue with you this one more than Viejas because of the way Utah State plays.
Yeah.
This game, I think you're going to win it because you got veteran experience. If they're going to pressure you, the place is going to be crazy. As Kenny was telling me off the air, they yell all kinds of stuff that you can't say on the air.
That's Utah.
Up there. And you've got to be composed. And I just think the way they play pressure basketball in that, and by the way, they're really freaking good. This is the one where I'm concerned that maybe if Amsil doesn't have the minutes that I got to go to a freshman, this concerns me a little bit.
Of course, putting that much on a freshman, that's why I think we would see Richard probably go a little bit smaller. And, KT's point, Philip, you got to play a little bit bigger, man. You can't be a small forward in this game. But I think the way Utah State plays, how they're going to try to speed you up in the different traps, it's not necessarily like you have to have the two bigs on the floor. And so we'll see how Amzil is with a week and how much he can give you. But then I'm looking, piecing it together, CJ off the bench and then
a lot of CJ.
Yeah.
What minutes you get.
But it's still I feel like Philip is gonna be that guy. I mean, with Philip going, to the bench after being a starter, I feel like he's been playing some pretty good ball, and he's been playing some really smart basketball by not just settling for threes. He's been attacking and getting in the paint. So, yeah, I think if Amzil, even if Amzil's able to go, his minutes are going to be limited if he's still having issues, right? So you got to keep that in mind. So Philip, yeah.
All right. Before we get out of here, the Miami Heat have suspended Jimmy Butler without pay for an indefinite period of time. He walked out of practice when he found out he wasn't starting. He'd been suspended. Evidently, he came back, figured he was going to walk back into the starting lineup. This is a stare down. The Heat have said they want to trade him. Well, they don't want to. They said they're going to. They have said that they've lowered their price. JJ, you're more in on the intricacies of contracts, but Kenny, have you ever been in a situation like this? Have you ever been on a team where there's a guy who just flat out doesn't want to be there, shows up, and it's this big of a mess?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Allen Iverson and Chris Ford. Coach Ford, who coached Larry Bird, that's the first thing that comes to mind when I was in Philly. Allen didn't want to play for him. He didn't want to play for him. Then this is when I was I was averaging like 20 and like 12 because I was the go-to guy then. But, man, I had probably about 5 coaches in Philly. I've seen a little bit of everything when it comes to just if players just don't want to play, they don't want to play. And then Pat Riley, with him being who he is and his reputation with multiple guys. I was listening to the First Take this morning, and there's so many different things that come with it when it comes with Pat Riley. He's a great coach, but he's not a guy that you're going to push over.
He's not going to back down. He's going to do it his way and in his way. You've talked a lot about being a professional. You talked a lot about money, how much these guys are making, and all these things. bottom line is dude's under contract to play basketball and be a part of a team. And I don't know, do you get to a point where it's not worth the money? Is it I deserve to be treated differently? Like what do you think's going on with Jimmy?
And the reason come on, man, this is Jimmy Butler.
I get it.
This is Jimmy Buckets Butler, right? Like,
dude, he's good. He's not Kobe freaking Bryant. He's not Steph Curry. He's a really, really good NBA player.
He has that kind of power. He just tried to pull it with the wrong person.
Yeah.
He pulled it with the wrong person, right? So it's Pat Riley's team, period. And how much does Jimmy make? Like 50, 60 million a year? Come on, man. You can't leave that money on the table, right? But he's trying to prove a point. He wants out. Pat Riley initially said he wasn't trading him.
But he ain't going to just give him away. I mean,
he makes too
Pat
much money.
Well, but to Pat Riley's point, he needs to get something back for what he's got. I'm not just giving it to you.
And then it looks bad right now. You got to keep in mind it looks bad with other teams that actually want him. What if he doesn't want to go to those other teams? And then it's going to be more poison. You got to keep in mind the salary cap is like 140 something million, and you got like 2 or 3 guys that's making 30 to 40 million a year, and then everybody else get in where you fit in, right? It got to make sense. So who's going to give up their big time players to get back something that they don't know what they're going to get with Jimmy right now?
Where we are.
Yeah, this one is what gets so many people frustrated. Players request trades. We've seen it in the NBA, but the way that Butler has handled it, it just seems like a complete 180 from what you thought about Jimmy Butler. You know, the guy that was Jimmy Buckets, postseason performer.
Yeah.
Always, felt like he had a chip on his shoulder. And then you have this situation, which, it's been boiling since the offseason. And Jimmy said he wants out. Understandable. But if you're Miami, you just can't give him away as well. And just where it gets to this point where it's such bad blood, it's one that NBA fans are just going to shake their heads at. And now, it's listening to some of the new reporting too, is he might be where, all right, he's going to get out of Miami, but it might not be his preferred destination. So what happens? Does he not show up to play for that other team? Like Jimmy Butler has overplayed his hand here now.
Yeah. Oh, I totally agree. And if he would have played it the right way, hey, ego, man, to a certain extent on Jimmy's side, right? Hey, you're coming off the bench. You're Jimmy Butler, right? Yeah, that's not supposed to happen. But you're still getting paid, and people are still
go to work,
watching you and your job. And keep in mind, man, every team has insurance on you. So, hey, your commodity, go do your job, man. If I was making $50 million, I'll go do my job.
All right, he's making $50 million to do Lobo Live, so help us pay. It's a little less. It's like 25. Kenny Thomas, star of Lobo Live. It's after every Lobo men's basketball home game over on News Radio KKOB. It'll be Saturday night after Utah State. Join him. He'll be with us on Friday. We'll preview that. We'll talk about what happens in the week. Good to see you, Kenny Thomas. Have a great week.
Man, appreciate you guys. Hey, follow me on Kenny Thomas NBA. I got a lot to come. My wines and Albertsons, and I got some other stuff.
All right. I got to go. Is AJ and JJ the rest of the way? I got a flight. You guys good the rest of the way?
Yes, sir. Safe travels.
They're not.
Hey, have a great call tonight up there in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah, JJ. Good luck, bro.
Safe travels back. I'll see you later in the week. It is the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics.
I'm a Blaze King customer, and I have been for the last 10 years. Blaze King stoves are very efficient, they're easy to maintain, and they use a lot less wood than you would typically use with a fireplace.
Blaze King, that's a fire.
The heat is on when it's a Blaze King wood stove, controlling heat up to 40 hours on a single load of wood with a built-in thermostat. See for yourself at either Blaze King showroom, Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Blaze King, and now that's a fire.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit hanswhitlerauto.com. TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of
why you can't completely ignore the Jimmy Butler situation. Looking at the NBA stretch run, who's going to get a discount deal? So Jimmy Butler, I don't think has handled this well at all. Got it. Mm-hmm. But what Jimmy Butler is going to do is get himself out of Miami sooner rather than later. Now, with that being said, what are some destinations? Where could he go? What makes sense for Jimmy Butler? Zay, JJ, back with the opening drive here on The Sports Animal. And you look at the teams that could be in it, it changes it. And with this situation, if the price tag has dropped because Jimmy Butler has made it that bad, yeah. I think Pat Riley and the Heat, they're still not going to give him away for nothing. But I think, when they're maybe looking for multiple first-round picks or a player to right now plus a young player, maybe that price tag comes down. Because one thing, too, you've got to realize if you're Miami at this point in time, it's just getting out from the headache that Jimmy Butler is and the contract. Because I think next year it's a player option for him. So he could opt in to $52 million, which is just crazy to me that he's that upset that I know he wants one more long-term deal. But with all that being said, what Jimmy Butler in Miami has done, it should have been celebrated, man. Like this was the team that got to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
They beat you look at the Eastern Conference run. The Celtics are the team now, but you look, Philadelphia couldn't accomplish that. The Celtics weren't there a couple years ago, and yet it was Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. And to get to this point, I think it leaves a lot of people scratching their head of how could it get there? Well, we're here. So I'm looking at the standings, and I know Phoenix has been the big rumor for Jimmy Butler to go there, and that would make sense, because I think when they look at Jimmy Butler, they're hoping to get a little bit of that out of Bradley Beal, which they didn't. Mm-hmm. And they're actually 8-2 in their last 10 games.
Yeah, they're doing pretty good.
Better basketball. KD, Devin Booker are still scorers. If they could swing this, that is an impactful move. But if you look at the other teams, where do you think Butler does make that type of impact if he lands at another team?
I saw another article that had him maybe going to the Bucks, but like the point you made earlier, you make that risk because it's like, what if he's unhappy? You see how he's going to act. My problem with Jimmy Butler is I feel like he peaked already, right? So I think we've seen the best of Jimmy Butler that we will see when he was basically not solo carrying, but I think his playoff runs, that's like the best version of Jimmy we're going to see. And it still wasn't, at least in my opinion, top 5. So then I feel like he's always done little things to put his name in the news, whether it's coming out with a new hairstyle, coming out with extensions, all the different things he does. Just I feel like to get a reaction, and right now, again, like Jeff was saying, like you have to go to work. This is such a bad example to set. I never understand why athletes go this route. I feel like it just shows a sense of entitlement. Like you're still in the very, very small percentile, and you're doing things that millions of people wish they could do, making money that millions of people wish they could make, and you're pouting, and you've got guys who could be unhappy at their regular job, and they're still forced to go.
Yeah, I know Jimmy in this situation, he's really pushing because this is the last time he'll ever have the chance to ask for like one more big extension. He's 35 years old. He's not done, but to your point, people believing in him as a 1A or 1B with that type of max contract is off the table. So I see why Jimmy Butler is doing this, but I also think it's a swing and a miss at this point in his career, because if he wanted to leave, which he made it obvious he does, Miami said, okay, we will discuss it. If he was more open to broader deals, if the Heat brought down their price a little bit, this is absolutely a difference maker for somewhere else where the Heat could still get some value, move forward. Because you look at what the Heat are, they're a team that's in transition. They're one game above 500. They're in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. You have some young players you like. Tyler Herro can be a lead guard. Bam Adebayo is still there, but this would be them, transitioning into their next version of themselves, and you could still get some nice return. And Jimmy Butler, if he was more open, man, he could absolutely go to a team and be that potentially third option and be an absolute difference maker. Yeah. And I think while we can sit here and talk about how we don't like the situation, it's when you're just, as fans, did the stories, you're like, oh man, what are we doing? I think the rest of the NBA is giddy right now that it got this bad in Miami, because they're going to try to swoop in now and get him for a discount. So it might seem like, we're talking about, Jimmy Butler, is he not going to want to play here or there? I think if it's the right playoff team comes in, it's a win-win for Butler. Yeah. As frustrating as this is, and we can say we don't like it, like the team could come in knowing they don't have to give up a ton of assets because he made it that bad in Miami, and get a player that is a legit difference maker in the postseason. There's not many of these in-season trades in any sport that can make this big of a difference, because we know Jimmy Butler shows up in the playoffs. The one thing we do know is he's still really good defensively. He's that edge guy that you want on your roster. So this is a wild situation to me. Like, I think he's overplayed his hand. I don't like the way he's done, but this could absolutely be a home run for someone, a playoff team that gets him in there.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that he's gone this route about it, because like you were just saying, when it comes to on the court, there's not a lot bad about him. Maybe he, you have your expectations for him. Will he reach that playoff Jimmy in the regular season all the time? Maybe not, but it sucks that you have to factor in the off the court things when you're trying to make a trade for him. And then as far as Miami's concerned, if I'm a Heat fan or just anybody in the Heat organization, at least you've got a guy at the top of the ship who you can at least trust will make some sort of a good trade. He's a very good negotiator, Pat Riley. I don't think he'll make some trade that's just terrible for Miami, and that could also be why it's taking this long. Teams could be trying to lowball him this whole time. He's like, nah, I'm not taking that. You guys have to give me something that's going to help this organization. So I think, when you think of Phoenix, I don't think Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler straight up would be a good trade. You have to start thinking about what Miami might want for Jimmy or what his asking price is, but it's dropping the more he, does these antics, like you said. But I think it's at rock bottom right now. I think a trade within the next few days I would expect, but you never know, because you could have said that a month ago.
there's still going to be plenty of moving pieces because of the salary matches that you have to have in the NBA with the salary cap and moving contracts in and out. So there's going to be a lot of players moved, but is it going to be the caliber of player you want if you're Miami? At this point, I'm looking, I don't think they send him anywhere in the Eastern Conference. So, Phoenix is a legit conversation because they just acquired multiple first-round picks in a trade with Utah. So there's some future assets on the board. And would you want Bradley Beal for Jimmy Butler straight up? No, but something you have to go salary-wise to make that work. And I'm just thinking, though, other team like the Clippers maybe, because Steve Ballmer is that kind of guy. Now, like to bring someone else in there, like I look at the Clippers, but other than that, like I don't think Houston really wants to change anything they're doing. I think they feel they have the right mix of a Dylan Brooks and Fred VanVleet, veteran guys there versus the young guys that are growing in that organization. Memphis, but I'm not sure what they would have to make that move. And those are the second and third place teams in the Western Conference. So I can see Jimmy Butler absolutely making an impact, but I can also understand where those organizations are. They've built to this point. Are they a Jimmy Butler away, or are they, no, this is the roster that's going to get us there?
Yeah, when you think, I like him, I like the idea of him on Memphis. I think that would fit pretty well. When I think of a team like Houston, again, I think when you factor in the potential off-the-court shenanigans with Butler, right now I think Houston, they got a good vibe. They've got a good winning culture over there. You can tell their locker room is really tight. I think it is more risky. If you're a team that's got young talent and you've got a good foundation, it is risky bringing him in because, like I said about Stephon Diggs, when you switch over to the NFL, like things can be great when things are going great, but when things go bad, you've already seen with Jimmy, he's not the best teammate to be around if things aren't going well. He's immediately going to point to, I should have had more shots. I should have done this. You should have let me do this rather than we lost the game. And I think that's a risk that any team that trades for him has to be willing to take.
Yeah, the Jimmy Butler situation, it's wild right now. I know it's in between the championship games, Super Bowl, we got Lobo basketball, all these things popping, but this is absolutely one of the rare difference makers because Jimmy Butler on a playoff team being potentially the second or third option, and I think the team he goes to, he could be option number 3, is a difference maker. And it's a wild scenario right now in the NBA. When we come back on the other side, we're going to wrap it up with the press conferences. We talked about so many quotes this morning from quarterbacks to coaches to owners. Now that they're in the books, there's still one team that needs a head coach, and that is the New Orleans Saints. But what do you like about this cycle? We'll wrap it up next. It's Opening Drive from The Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. For over 20 years, Evergard Roofing and Solar has been committed to customer service. Locally owned and operated, Evergard offers both commercial and residential roofing and solar services. For more info, please call 505-821-9543. Evergard Roofing and Solar are proud supporters of ProView Sports Network and New Mexico Youth Athletics. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team. You remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day he gave his infamous speech. That's why you believe in heroes. That's why you remember and collect their memorabilia. All in Autographs, where you can meet some of the greats, collect some of the greats, and share your own legacy. Visit All In Autographs, where you can celebrate the great and have your own piece of history.
ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
I might not be in the cage as much anymore, just like riding a bicycle. I can pick up the fight from where I left off. I'm not some slick-haired outsider posing with borrowed gloves. I grew up here, New Mexico is in my blood. I'm a New Mexican fighting for other New Mexicans. I'm Adam Oki. I'll be your champion in the courtroom.
Hi, my name is Daniel Chavez, and this is my business partner, David Chavez. We are the owners of Indeed Safety. Indeed Safety is a local safety consulting company helping our clients with their safety needs for their projects.
One of the things we pride ourselves as a construction safety company is helping our men and women in construction get home safe every day to their families. Indeed Safety is a proud supporter of ProView Network.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
I'm David C. Chavez, personal injury attorney. For over 4 decades, our law firm has remained steadfast in our commitment to serving the remarkable people of New Mexico that have been injured through no fault of their own. I'm a New Mexican fighting for New Mexicans. I received my bachelor's degree at NMSU and earned my law degree at UNM. I can proudly say I'm both an Aggie and a Lobo. Call now and I will meet with you. 40 years strong, and we're still as local as red and green.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports. Either college or trade, we can help you find the funding you need. Go to nmfafsa.org. That's nmfafsa.org.
From the Sandia foothills to the banks of the Rio Grande, generations of families remain. For 5 generations, Gallus Chevrolet has handed down values written in stone, leading the way under sun-filled skies, past the vintage glow of Route 66. Built by generations past, built for generations to come. This is New Mexico. This is Gallus.
You followed him from the first day he signed with the team.
So how you feeling? You got a new head coach as a press conference. Yeah, you want to win the press conference. However, don't take too much out of it. Nick Sirianni had a bad press conference. People still want to hold that over him. And the Eagles have been 2 of the last 3 Super Bowls. You could have the next hot commodity. It could flame out. So who actually got better this hiring cycle? A lot of press conferences yesterday. So Aaron Glenn introduced Liam in with the Jets, Liam Cohen with the Jaguars, Pete Carroll with the Raiders, Ben Johnson last week with the Bears. Saints still looking for a head coach. Maybe your guy Mike McCarthy could be a fit there.
I've heard
we shall see.
I've heard the talks are not going well. I heard they're not impressed, which doesn't shock me.
Well, yes, because why would you be impressed with a football coach that's won double-digit games in the NFL? To come into your organization that's a mess, and that's one of the messiest situations in the NFL, just cap-wise and looking at, do you have future talent in the New Orleans Saints? But when you look at the entire landscape, the winners in this hiring cycle, I think one of the biggest winners is Jacksonville. And it is because Liam Cohen actually forced their hand. You might not know a lot about Trent Baalke, but if you read stories, you listen to the NFL people, there was enough noise to where he wasn't really a trusted general manager. He was a guy that was good enough to get jobs. He won the favor of ownership groups, but there's always something there. And when Liam Cohen backed out and said, hey, I'm going back to Tampa Bay and be the OC, they're going to give me a raise, and it forced Jacksonville's hand to make a move at general manager, I actually think that's huge for that organization.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Jaguars, you can look at the ownership group, Shad Khan, and he wants to go overseas a lot, trying to make some money off London, all this stuff. That's not necessarily an organization we look at and be like, man, they've ran poorly over the years. They've popped at times. Blake Bortles took them to an AFC Championship game. Like, they've actually been a franchise over the last few years that's been able to put some talent on the field. And I look at this cycle, I know Ben Johnson pairing with Caleb Williams was everyone's favorite. I'm actually really excited to see what Jacksonville can become. The shakeup in the front office, Liam Cohen coming in. I think Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. Does he need to play better? 100%, absolutely. But if you're telling me that's where I get to start with, is with Trevor Lawrence. Brian Thomas was a home run, wide receiver at LSU. He can be a wide receiver one. Got a backfield that's good enough next year with Etienne and Bigsby. I think looking at next year, the Jaguars, as an organization and on the football field, will take the biggest jump of any of these teams that hired a new coach this offseason.
Yeah, if you have even the smallest ability to at least just orchestrate a manageable offense for a quarterback, right? I don't know exactly what the issue has been with Trevor Lawrence. I'm not a offensive coordinator, but I think that is the main goal. This is one thing about Trevor I always liked about him is that he's never out of it. So even a team could be down, his team could be down 21 points. And we've seen him in college and he's done it in the NFL a couple of times. It's been a little while, but he's a guy who is a good leader. He's the guy that when his teammates see him on the sidelines in the huddle, they believe in him. So I think they just need an offensive coordinator that they can believe in. They just need some hope in Jacksonville. And the stat earlier about how close their games were, I didn't realize that. And
3-10 in one-score games.
That's heartbreaking. And you're right there on the edge, and you have to go back, dissect those games, figure out what the issue was. And Trevor was out the second half of the season, and they still were able to keep the games close. So although it looks bad when you look at that record, they're a lot closer than people think. So that turnaround, like you said, if I was a betting man, that turnaround's huge when you look at potential.
Yeah, they're a team that I believed in the last few years. You thought Doug Peterson was going to be that perfect guy, right? You tried the Urban Meyer experiment. That didn't work. You cut him before the end of that first season.
Bad. That was real bad.
So you bring in Doug Peterson. You just won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia. Veteran coach, quarterback guy. It didn't work. So at some point in time, you do have to look in the mirror if you're Trevor Lawrence going, hey, how can I be better for this franchise? But I think just top to bottom, Jacksonville is in a really good place moving forward. And the number two to me would be the Bears, because Ben Johnson, I trust him working with Caleb Williams. I think Caleb Williams, with what he did, his numbers weren't terrible.
Not at all.
The team didn't win games. What is this about, right? It's sport. You do what you need to do to win.
Yeah.
So I think Ben Johnson would be right there. And I think the thing that changes it for Jacksonville is if they didn't have that organization shakeup, it was bulky, and they didn't get who they wanted in at head coach, I wouldn't think that franchise would be able to take a step forward. A lot of that, too, is the division. I think the AFC South, Houston won it at 10-7. And I think Houston, CJ Stroud, the development, you expect him to get better, but I don't see Houston all of a sudden being 12-13 win team.
No.
So that's why I think the Jaguars can be right there competing, because Indianapolis still has to figure out the Anthony Richardson situation and see if they can develop anything with him. Tennessee has the number one overall pick, so they're starting over. And we've been spoiled the last couple of years with CJ Stroud and Jaden Daniels. But that usually doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I know Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, we're going to talk about it a lot leading up to the draft. Those are the two guys that the Titans are going to debate. And could one come in and potentially win that division? Sure. But I would still take Jacksonville next season as being the team that could get past Houston with what they have and that new coaching staff with that front office. But I do like Ben Johnson a lot to the Bears. Those are, to me, are the top two. And then the other ones I look at, and it's, are you on the same page with the ownership group? I think the Pete Carroll to Vegas is a really good move. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about Mark Davis earlier. Him bringing in Tom Brady, someone that he can defer to, I think that is very good for that organization. And you're bringing in Pete Carroll knowing that this isn't about the next 10 years. They understand that they have a lot of work to do. They have to find a quarterback, and they have to develop. And Pete Carroll, I like it because they bring in a veteran guy that's going to develop, and hopefully the next year or two they can find a quarterback they like, and then that's when that franchise takes off. I do believe that the Raiders actually have a plan with what they're doing with Pete Carroll.
Tom Brady's involved. You have to trust that they have some sort of a plan.
I don't feel that you hire Pete Carroll and expect him in year one to figure everything out.
No.
I think this is that's why they gave him 3 years with the 4th year deal. Hey, come in, stable, help us stabilize this organization, lay a foundation, and hopefully you can take off after that. The one that's a question is, Aaron Glenn. Woody Johnson was saying, hey, I'm going to let this coaching staff do that. But are you going to let Aaron Glenn have a year where they might not have the quarterback situation figured out? And that's always the question is, all right, yes, you have to figure out the quarterback, but are you going to get the chance to get it figured out?
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. I agree. And one thing I really like about Ben Johnson to the Bears is Caleb Williams, creative, will try anything. Ben Johnson, creative, will try anything. So they're going to feed off each other, and I think they'll have some crazy trick plays drawn up in Chicago.
I'm excited, and we have so much more to get to with the draft, the big game coming up. But focus is on hoops. I want to thank Kenny Thomas for joining us this morning. Zay, appreciate you, man, as always. Thank you for hanging out this morning. We got Colin Cowherd coming up next, Jim Rome following that. 2 men on the boys this afternoon. Of course, Lobo women's basketball tonight from Boise. 6 o'clock pregame, everybody. Mineral peace and love. Have a great day.
Remember the day he poured in 63 points? The night he played a sold-out concert to 30,000 people. The day
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. ProView Networks would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. Hans Whitler Automotive, German car maintenance and repair in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Call 505-294-7684 or visit HansWhitlerAuto.com.
Got shots? Got shots? Got shots?
During Got Shots, participating providers open their doors for any child who presents for immunizations, regardless of whether they are a patient or whether they have insurance.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Hi, my name is Ruben, and I'm with the New Mexico Educational Assistance Foundation. We are proud sponsors of high school and college sports, either college or